I don't normally make videos like this, but I felt like I had to say something in regards to Chadwick Boseman, and even bigger than him, because we got a lot of shit going on right now, and it's just insane to me. It's insane to me. So the hope is that we can talk about Chadwick Boseman for a second and try to find the silver lining. I think that's the only thing we can do. And why it affects people the way it does when you don't know the person. So I'm sure a lot of people see that, same with Kobe earlier this year and people like him, and now Chadwick Boseman. I'm sure a lot of people question, well, I didn't know him. Maybe you enjoyed him as Black Panther or Jackie Robinson or whatever, any of the great movies he's done. But you don't really know him, so it's odd that it affects people the way it does. Maybe it's as simple as you liked him as an actor. He was a great character for Black Panther, T'Challa, and you look forward to seeing him in Black Panther 2 and 3 and the other Avenger movies and whatever's coming up. Maybe it's as simple as that, but I don't think so. I think it goes deeper. I think it goes deeper than that. And so let's talk about that for a second. It kind of goes back. First of all, let me say, this video is not monetized, just to put that out there. You have to make a fucking disclaimer for everything these days. So just to say that, just to be upfront about it. It's just really weird, I guess. It goes back to a video I did a while back, actually an article I wrote for my website, which I didn't even really share. And then I make a video out of it as well called Why Fantasy Matters. And this goes into fantasy, sci-fi, movies in general, sports. It's the one thing, one of the few things that brings people together, regardless of who you are, what color you are, what orientation you are, whatever these other arbitrary boxes they want to throw us in. And when I say they, I'm talking primarily about the media, fucking politicians. It's one of those things where on that day, if you're at a stadium or a sports bar watching the game with all the people around you, you're high-fiving strangers or whatever when you score that touchdown or hit the winning shot or whatever it may be, you don't give a shit where they work, what color they are, where they go to church. If they go to church, you don't care about none of that shit. You're on the same team for that, at least those few hours. And that's what movies do. Movies and TV shows and all that. It brings people together for, those couple hours that it's on while you're in the theater, or even, weeks or a whole season for that matter, where you all come together on YouTube, for example, during live streams and talk about this one thing you all love. It's something that you have in common. So this is the reason I think that people are hit like this and where it feels really odd. It's not a close loved one for most of us. Obviously, he has a family and close friends, and my thoughts and prayers are with them, obviously. But I think a lot of people question that, why this guy that, you may have liked him on TV or in a movie or whatever, but you don't know him, but why does it affect you like that? And I asked the same question when Kobe died, because I was a Michael Jordan fan. But I learned to respect Kobe a lot over the years, as Jordan left the game and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really watch the NBA after that, but I knew of Kobe, and I kept an eye on him. Part of me didn't want him to be better than Jordan, things like that when he was coming up and getting to be the caliber player that he became. But I gained a lot of respect for Kobe Bryant, and that was a weird day. Still is, actually. But this brings it up again, with Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, T'Challa, the king of Wakanda, Jackie Robinson, all these great things that he did in these movies. And he did all this while battling colon cancer that nobody knew about. Obviously, close family and friends, I'm sure, maybe some of his co-workers and productions he was working on, I'm sure. But going through chemotherapy and surgery while bulking up, for example, for the Black Panther or any particular movie, working out, learning, choreography, all the things that came with that job is pretty fucking amazing. And I think that needs to be recognized. He felt like he needed to be, and he played these big roles, mind you. Black Panther's been around for, many, many, many decades. If you were a comic book nerd, you knew you had all these black superheroes for decades and decades and decades, but it's somehow frowned upon, I think, to some people. So most people didn't read comic books when they were young. Now, what's great about Marvel and DC and all this is they're bringing this to the big screen. So while Blade was the first, Marvel movie which featured a major black, essentially superhero, vampire, whatever. Black Panther, all that is, being a part of the Avengers and all that kind of thing, brought it to the limelight, brought it to the mainstream of pop culture, where if you were a comic fan, you knew all this. You were already a fan. And it goes to show you, I guess the point of that is don't be ashamed to be a nerd. Don't be ashamed to read comics and do things that other people think are weird. People made fun of Chadwick Boseman, apparently, for, when he had some pictures that came out, and he did a video a few months back, I think in February on Instagram, and he looked skinny, and everybody thought, maybe he's getting ready for another movie, or he's lost weight for a particular movie role. Other people actually made fun of him. I believe, I didn't read any of those comments myself, but I've read a lot of articles last night saying that people were, clowning on him for looking so skinny when he looked so healthy, obviously, before in all these movie roles and his public appearances. You don't know what somebody's going through. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what's behind that smile, is the point. And that goes for all of us. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit who you vote for. I don't give a shit what your political leanings are. I don't give a shit who you love. Everybody has a story. They're all going through something, maybe. You don't know that. And here you go. This happens. And the only thing I can hope is we can take this, and the only thing we can do is find some silver lining to where we can somehow come together in some way over this. It's horrible that it always takes a tragedy. It takes a tragedy for people to, come together, even if it's just for a day or two. But it's better than nothing, especially what's going on right now. But this goes beyond Chadwick. So I didn't want to just talk about him. You guys, if anybody watching this or that cares, probably has read all the articles, or maybe you watched another video or whatever. But I wanted, in honor of him, I wanted to show you a couple of things that you won't see on the news. I have a few pictures here that I'm going to throw up on the screen. This is what he, regardless if you agree with his politics or not, because it doesn't matter, he still wanted the same thing as the rest of us. And that's the way it used to be. It used to be we were all on different, so-called political teams. Well, we could all come together and still have a discussion about it. We could have a conversation about it. And we all wanted the same thing. We want America to be better than what it was yesterday. The idea of America, to me, and I think to a lot of people, is that the goal is it to make a more perfect union over time, to be better than we were the last generation. And that's what's happened. America has horrible sins in its past, but it's also one of the only countries to fight a war to end those sins. It's changed the world in so many positive ways. It gives people an opportunity, if they so choose to take it, to do what they want, to live how they want, to be who they want. So I don't understand people that run around just looking for the bad things all the time. So I'm going to do something different. I'm going to show a couple pictures here, a few pictures, that shows the America I live in. This is maybe I'm in a bubble, in a small southern town, but these are the kind of things I see. These are not pictures from my town necessarily, but it gives me hope. And I needed to see this yesterday when I saw this post with these pictures. Because with the political climate and the riots and some protests and all that stuff as well going on all over the place, you need to see some of this stuff. You need to see this stuff, because if you just watch the news all day, you would have, people will think that it's just terrible everywhere and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And yeah, it's stoked up right now for political reasons. So I saw this last night and I thought, I needed to see this. So maybe other people do too, because this is my America. This is the America that I want to live in. This is the way I experienced America when I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, whatever. And I'm not saying that everybody's, experience is the same as mine. I'm saying this is my ideal place, and this is what I saw in a small southern town. This is the way it works here. This is not the way CNN has you believing it works, or MSNBC or Fox News. I don't give a shit. Their job is not to inform you. Their job is not to give you hope. Their job is not to give you actual news. Their job is to tell you how to think. And ratings. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I know this video is already longer than it needed to be, but I'm going to show you these pictures. I'm going to throw them up on the screen. This is the America I want to live in. So first, you have this young man and his grandmother. She took me in 15 years ago, and no one makes me as happy. We had the best Christmas. I love my grandma so much. Now, I don't need to point out what's order in these pictures. I'll just let them sit there for a second and read the little captions with them. By the way, these are not mine. This is a post I found on Facebook, and I really needed to see it last night, and I think other people do too. Here you go. This is my Uber driver, Benny. He took me to the hospital and keeping me company since most of my family lives out of state. Benny didn't have to do that. But Benny did. Because most people are good. Next. Man in red needed help with son's math homework and got it from a stranger on the subway. How many parents out there have gone through this? You can't remember something, you're trying to help your kid out with homework, and you're like, damn, I ain't taking this shit in 25 years. This is America. Right here. Next. Pararescueman Sergeant Mike Maroney reunited with the girl he saved 12 years ago during Hurricane Katrina. I don't need to say anything else about this. This is America. Next, volunteers helping flood victims evacuate in Houston. Do these people give a shit in this moment what color the other people are? No, because most people are good. This is America. Next one. Kindness. Pass it on. Why don't we see this every day on the news? Where are these stories? Next. Young man helping an older man down an escalator. Where was this when it happened? Doesn't fit the narrative, does it? We're all supposed to hate each other. This is the America I grew up in. Next, baseball fan holding umbrella over a JROTC member on Memorial Day. Does this not give you hope? This man didn't have to stand there and hold an umbrella over this young man's head for the whole entire time he did. That was his duty anyway, regardless of the rain. But this is America. Next. Waiter helping to feed disabled lady so her husband can finish his meal. Good job. Good man. Where was this on the news? You can't have this on the news because it shows that people actually care about each other, regardless of race. They're not going to show you this. They want you to be in despair. But this is America. This is the one I grew up in. Next, 7-year-old boy donates $20 from piggy bank to help vandalize mosque. Wanted an Apple iPad, so he got one. This is what people do. You don't do kind things for something in return, but people recognize things like that. They go viral, and this is some of the good things about social media. The kid got a new iPad. The kid didn't have to take $20 from his little savings account. He might have bought a toy or saved up for that iPad. But he donated it to help vandalize mosques. Didn't care what religion they were. This is America. Next, I've actually done this myself. Stranger helping out another stranger struggling with his tie. This is beautiful to me. Two men, completely different backgrounds. Ties are, an old thing, old school thing. Most people don't wear them anymore. But he needed to wear one for whatever occasion this was. He gets help from this stranger. Helps him learn to tie a proper tie. Where was this? You have to dig for this stuff. Why was this not on CNN when it happened? It's not news. Because it happens every day in America. One of my favorites. Kids do what they feel. These two strangers just hugged in a fast food restaurant. You're not going to see this on the news. They're not going to have you believe that parents teach their kids to love all people because they have a narrative to maintain. This is the America I grew up in, right here. It says everything. Next, this is Anthony Borges, 15. He used his body to hold a classroom door shut, protecting 20 other students inside as the gunman fired through the door, hitting him 5 times. Maybe have a speedy recovery. You think that guy right there gives a crap that he's a cop standing there over his bed right there? Doubt it. This man's a hero. And this shit happens. Because it's America. But they don't want you to know this stuff happens. Next. A couple of months ago, an elderly lady asked me to walk her home because she was scared she was going to slip on the ice. We became friends, and now I walk her home almost every day. This should be a movie. I'm not going to make a movie about this. It shows you people don't care about the other person's skin color, when somebody needs help. This happens every day. It's not going to be on the news. We're all supposed to hate each other. But this is the America I grew up in. This next one I remember specifically because I did find this. Officer talks man out of committing suicide. 8 years later, the now father of 2 gives the officer an award at the American Foundation of Suicide. I do remember this story. I'm not sure where I saw it or read it. But they're not going to show you this, especially now. They're not going to show you 2 cops trying to talk a black man from checking out. They're not going to show you that. It doesn't fit the narrative. But this right here is America that people don't see on CNN. Next, there's a local group that cuts loans for the elderly, disabled, and single-parent mothers for free. Here they are with my grandma. Where's that story? Did you see that yesterday on the news? No, it didn't happen yesterday, but the point is, did you see any story like that on the news? No, because it's an election year. And you're not supposed to think that people give a shit about each other. You're supposed to think that they hate you and you're supposed to hate them. How could people get up every day and just look for all negative? Should you address it when you see it? Absolutely. But it's got to be miserable waking up thinking that this is your world and this is your country. Turn off the news and go outside in your own communities and look around. Now, there are problems in places, no doubt. But this is the real world. This is America. This is what we're striving to be. Now, I'm not some philosopher. I'm not anybody give anybody advice, but I will. Turn off the TV Go outside, participate in your communities, and just treat each other with respect. And this is why I think that Chadwick Boseman, Kobe Bryant, other people that we've lost like this, suddenly why it affects us. Because in our hearts, we know that this is what we are. I've rambled long enough, so I'll stop. But just do that. Do yourself a favor. Turn off the fucking news. Go out. Look around. Help people. Say hello to somebody, a stranger. Just say hello. You don't know what they're going through. And again, thoughts and prayers out to Chadwick Boseman, his family and friends. And let's just try to find the silver lining. Thanks for watching.